Hello and welcome back to another video tutorial for Introduction to Solid Modeling. This video is going to cover how we can utilize symmetry in Solidworks to make our lives a little bit easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how you can sketch to make symmetry already kind of built into the part using the default planes. So let's say, for example, I'm going to sketch a rectangle. I can choose the center rectangle and we'll just choose a plane. If I start the center rectangle over here, the right plane, or the plane that is going to be going vertically here, and the plane that comes across horizontally, those don't even intersect this rectangle. If I'm thinking ahead and I know that I'm going to mirror features across, or if I'm going to use this in an assembly later on, it would be better for me to make this center rectangle coincident with the origin. Because if I do that, now you can see that these planes run across the symmetry lines of this rectangle, if that makes sense. So if I just add some dimensions to this rectangle so it'll be fully defined. One of the types of boss extrudes that also helps a lot with symmetry, we've been using blind, but the best one to use if we're trying to use symmetry for features or mating in the future is called the mid-plane extrusion. So I'll extrude this just a high number just so you can see the difference in the two. So with a mid-plane extrude, you can see that the sketch is in the middle of the feature. It's extruded at 3 inches forwards and backwards. This is what it would look like if it was a blind extrude. This can be really helpful in the future, mostly in assemblies, but if for whatever reason we needed to cut something out of the front of the part and mirror it across to the back, now we have a plane that runs across the mirror of this part. So if I hit the check mark, you can see now, and this might be able to show it pretty well, look at the front plane. The front plane is directly in the center of this rectangular prism. Same for the top plane, and same for the right plane. All three of them are lines of symmetry. Now I'll show you how this can be, you can use this to your advantage. So let's say we wanted to sketch, or we wanted to cut a notch out of this top corner rectangle. And we know that this notch needs to be on all four corners of the rectangle. So if I do an extruded cut and remove this material just through all, you can see that corner is now gone. But if I wanted to make that same corner be cut out on all four corners, I could, in the sketch all four corners, or I can mirror the feature. Easiest way to do that is to click the drop down of the linear pattern. You'll see this mirror feature. Now I can select really any of these planes, but the planes that are the most beneficial to me in this case would be the top plane. If I select the top plane, it's going to be able to mirror this feature down to this corner. And that's what I did for the primary. And if you just wanted to add this feature down to the bottom, that's where you'd stop. But since I also want to move it over to the right side of the part, with my secondary mirror, I can select the right plane. And then under features to mirror, I can just come into the tree over here and select the cut extrude that I just created. And you'll see this preview pop up of all these cuts that it's about to do. When I hit the check mark, now you can see that all of these corners have been cut out. If we can identify where we can use symmetry to our advantage, SolidWorks makes it really easy to be efficient in making one feature and then mirroring that across to other sides of the part. Another way we can use symmetry in SolidWorks is during the sketching phase. So let's say I have a part that is symmetrical, but it's not one of these standard profiles. I can start by sketching half of it. So let's say it looks something kind of crazy. It's not really normal at all, and this, it can be as crazy as you want it to be. So let's say this represents the left half of this part. You can sketch the whole thing, and then the easiest way to do this is probably to select this line and use this conversion option right here and convert it to construction geometry. Now I can use this mirror entities button up here, and let's say I want to mirror all of these lines, and I'm just clicking on these. I don't have to hold control. And then I switch to the mirror about box and select this line. Now once I hit the check mark, you can see that it added all these lines, and they're an exact mirror of what's going on the left side. So if I extrude this, you can see that it's not going to extrude that center line. That center line is there just for construction. And look, we've created what looks to be a dress. Alright, so be on the lookout for ways you can use symmetry to your advantage when working in SolidWorks.